everyone, it is Gail here. Like my little intro there, quite like that one. Just count down from 30 seconds. I'm still figuring out technology behind all that, but it seems to work. So welcome to the Ignite show. So I am here, just checking that I am on here. I am. So I am here live at 5 Mondays and Thursdays. So it is Monday. And so here I am, I'm live, and I see somebody is watching me already. So who is on live? Let me just get to my comments here so I can see who's joining me, and I'm going to do that over here as well. Okay. See who is around. Down from 30. Oops. So yeah, so let me know if you're on live. Pop me a little comment. And I am going to, who is watching now? Pam Dunlop is watching now, looks like Pam. So if it is you, Pam, then give me a little comment, let me know how you are. I was supposed to be golfing this morning, Pam, so Pam is one of my golfing buddies, and it got rained off, thankfully. Thankfully, it got rained off. So let us see who is around here. I'm just going to invite some people to join me live. Invite. A few people here that I'm inviting. There we go. So let's see if any of them turn up. So today, I don't know if someone is still watching me live now or not. They might have disappeared, possibly. Everything seems to have, oh no, I'm not frozen over there, it's still live. So today I am talking about a couple of things actually. So I've just been out for a walk. It's very misty outside, and I've just been out for a walk because it's day one for me, day one of doing a new thing. So I'm doing a Primal health plan, so 21 days, Primal health, which basically means going back to how our ancestors would have eaten thousands of years ago. So going back to primitive ways of eating, so no modern foods, no grain, right? Because grain is actually quite a modern thing to eat. So it's basically very little carbs and meat and plants. So meat and plants. So not too good if you're a veggie, but I'm not a veggie, so hopefully that's going to work okay. But it's really about teaching my body apparently to burn fat for fuel rather than carbs. So I'm on day one, and so far so good. I am not feeling too hungry. I feel kind of okay. But part of what I'm trying to do also is move a little bit more. So I have got my new Fitbit here, and I had to send it. I had bought another activity tracker actually, and I had to send it back because when I went outside, I couldn't actually read the display. But this is a proper Fitbit. The one I bought before was just a cheap thing. But this one, if I can get it to come on, is currently telling me that I've done 5,000 steps today. And part of me is actually thinking, how on earth have I done 5,000 steps? And just doesn't feel like I've done 5,000 steps, but apparently I have done 5,000 steps. So anyway, I see Tanuja is on. So hello, Tanuja, how are you? Tanuja is a new client. She's saying good morning. It's good afternoon for me, but good to see you on here, Tanuja. And let's just bring that little comment up. There we go. Good morning from Tanuja with her lovely shades on, looking very cool. Definitely don't need shades here just now today. In Scotland, it is dreek, as they would say here. Dreek. Very dreek. So today I'm talking about a couple of things. So one thing that I wanted to talk about is multitasking, right? Because one of the things I talk about is balance, right? So finding your balance is one of the programs that I do. And that's going to lead me into something else about why you shouldn't be nervous if you are presenting, right? Why you should just be yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else is thinking. Just be yourself and not to be nervous, which is easier said than done. However, I can tell you a little story about that, which might inspire you Tanuja is saying she's doing fabulous. Thank you. Fantastic. That's a good way to be. So I see a couple of other people have joined me now as well. So if you are on watching live, let me know who you are. Let me know where you are, who you are, what you're doing today, and how the weather is, because the weather is miserable here in Scotland today. Really, really miserable. I think it's to get better Wednesday to Friday, but Monday to Wednesday is to be a bit more of this yuck, which is really just not very nice at all. So yeah, so a couple of things. We're going to be talking about multitasking because I teach a program called Find Your Balance, and I know that a lot of people I work with are feeling overwhelmed. Katie is on. Hi, Katie. How are you? Is this your first day back at work after your holidays? Let me know if it is and how you are. Nice to see you on here. And Tanisha's saying it's close to 110 degrees. Heat wave in California. Oh my goodness. Now, so my husband came downstairs. So my husband works upstairs and I work downstairs. He came downstairs earlier and told me that the hottest temperature on Earth had been recorded. So it was a record temperature had been recorded in Death Valley. I think it was yesterday in California. I can't remember what the temperature was. Something ridiculous, 139 degrees or something like that. I don't know if you saw that, Tanuja. But we went to Death Valley. We went to Death Valley. So when I left Adobe, we had a big holiday and we went to California and we also went to Nevada as well. But we went to Death Valley and the temperature, so the temperature he was talking about today was recorded at Furnace Creek in Death Valley, which is where we were. And it was warm then, but we weren't even there, at the hottest time of the year. We were there at kind of a relatively cool time, but even then it was warm. But 110 degrees, that just sounds particularly hot. Nadia is on. Good afternoon. Yes, weather minging too. Gosh, that's a bit of a Scottish one, isn't it? Minging. I've not heard that. I don't think I've heard that. I don't think I've heard that phrase, Nadia, since I was in the playground. Minging. That is really funny. We have rolling blackouts. Oh, Tanuja, that is awful. Awful. I would hate it to be as hot as that here. I'm actually quite glad that it's cooler here, although sometimes I do moan about the weather, but we at least we never end up with that. Katie, yes, first day back, still working through the emails. It was the day that just kept giving. Ooh, what do you mean it was the day that just kept giving? Is that in a good way, Katie? The day that just kept giving? Does that mean there are just like more and more emails or something else? Let me know what you mean by that. And ATB, 130 degrees. I don't know what ATB means. Yeah, but 130 degrees anyway, that sounds pretty hot. And Jem is on. Hi, Jem, the new VP. So Jem, how is your new role going? I haven't heard from you for a while, so let me know how that is going for you. Jem is saying, hi there, Gail. Yeah, it will be 103 plus degrees in my town today, 40 degrees C. Oh, yeah, because I'm not used to Fahrenheit. We're all degrees C here, and I think here at the moment it's probably about 14 in the middle of August, right? And we had like 30 degrees a few weeks ago, and now it's 14. Now it's 14, but hey ho. But yeah, good to see you, Jim. Good to have you on here. So let me know how your new job is going. I'm dying to hear. Like, how is it all going? I feel like I should be bowing to you now because Jim is a vice president now, a VP. So yes, let me know how that's going for you, Jim. Katie is on again saying it was beyond hectic. I bet it was. Those first days back at work can be horrendous. But Katie, because you've done my program, I am hoping that you have got it sorted and that you're taking it in your stride without getting stressed. Tanuja, I still don't know what that means, Tanuja. AT, is that a swear word or? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Tunisia, you'll need to explain that one, sorry. Lindsay McFarlane is on. Hello, Lindsay. How are you? How are things? How are you getting on since Find Your Balance? Because that is now finished. So how have you got on since then? And Katie is saying congratulations to Jim on the new job. That's a nice thing to say, Katie. Thank you for that. Don't know if Jim is still on or not, but maybe we'll get a little comment from him. Let's see. So yeah, so if you've got any comments or questions, anything that you want to share with me, then pop your comments in and I will read them out for everyone else to see as well. So let me know. And I am streaming live at the moment to my Facebook profile, my Facebook page, and YouTube apparently, because I use StreamYard. And I just see what Tunisia's just said. Oh no, not a swear word. I mentioned it. It's 130 degrees in Death Valley now. Ah, yes. Okay, 130 degrees. That is just shocking. Shockingly hot. Shockingly hot. So yeah, so if you have anything that you'd like to ask me, if you have any comments, if you've got any questions, then make sure you pop them in the comments and I will bring them up and I will do my best to get to them. But I'm going to go back to what I was going to share with you today. So what I was going to share is all about, so two things actually, because one of the things I'm going to share leads into the other ones. The first thing is about multitasking. And so, as you know, I run a program. One of the programs that I run, although actually I'm not going to run it again, but one of the programs I did run, I'm not running it again because I'm rolling it into my Leading with Confidence program. But one of the things that I work on with clients is balance, so helping people to find balance and figure out what balance is for them. And I know a lot of people struggle with overwhelm. So the two big things that people come to me for help with are self-doubt and overwhelm. And often the two can be connected actually, because quite often when we are full of self-doubt, we find it difficult to, well, when we're full of self-doubt, we can easily get overwhelmed. So they quite often go hand in hand. But those are the two biggest things that people come to me for. And so I know that there are people in my world that come in here and are attracted to me because of that. So because that's one of the things that I talk about and one of the things that I teach. And so interestingly, I had, so I run a book club. It's a loose version of the word run, but I have a book club. It's part of my Ignite, well, it's inside my Ignite program. So we have a book club and we've done a couple of books so far. It's quite a new thing. So I still have them on my desk because both of them are unfinished. So we've been reading Dare to Lead and Start with Why. But one of the things about it is, so even though it's my book club, I have been struggling to finish books, right? So I've been struggling, and I've actually read both of them before, which is a bonus, but I've been struggling to just kind of get them completely finished to be able to do my wrap up of them, because I do a thing. So I'm saying this like I've done this for, 4 years. This is like it's brand new. We just started doing it. But what I thought we could do is in the book club is when we finish the book, I've got 4 things that I ask everyone about. So, and the fourth, it's 4 L's, the letter L. And so it's, what did you love about it? What did you loathe about it? What did you learn from it? And the fourth one is, how will you use it to lead, right? So how will you lead with it? So it's loathe, love, learn, and lead, those 4 L's. And so one of the things that I have been struggling with, even though I teach balance, is finding the time to actually read the books, okay? Finding the time to read them. I'm really struggling with that. Although I did actually read some of a book, not any of these books, but a book last night in bed, which is where I like to read best, but I haven't been making time for that. And the other book that I'm reading just now, and I've got a few on the go. I'm going to tell you about the other one that I'm reading in a second. One of the ones I'm reading just now is Michelle Obama's Becoming, because I just love Michelle Obama. I think she's amazing and really enjoying that. So I'm about halfway through that just now. So I did actually make the time to read that in my bed last night. Jim has just posted a massive comment, which I'm going to come back to in a second. Otherwise, I'll forget what I'm saying, but I am going to come back to that. So the thing is, so one of my clients, I heard this actually from a couple of people, but one of my clients was telling me the other day about how they are reading a book. I guess reading is not quite the right word, but it's more listening to a book on Audible, right? And so I've never really been a podcast person. Tanisha's saying she's midway through the Michelle Obama book. What do you? Let me just pull this one up. I know you have spoken, Jim, and I'm going to come back to you, but I'm just picking this up from Tanisha just now, since it's what I was talking about. Midway through Michelle Obama's book, what do you think of it? Right? What do you think about it? Let's do the 4 L's. Love, loathe, learn, lead. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Love, loathe, learn, lead. Let's do a quick book review live in the moment. Why not? So one of my clients was telling me that they use Audible, and so I've never really got into any of that kind of thing. I'm not really one for wandering around with earbuds in. I like to, when I go out, I love going out for a walk. I was going to listen to a book in the car. My husband put me off in case I crashed, which was probably not a bad thing. And when I'm out and about, out for a walk, so I've just been out for a walk in the mist, I like to actually just take in, the sights, the sounds, the smells, nature, just, like to kind of chill. However, I just suddenly thought, you know what? If I used Audible, then I would be able to get through more books. And so I'm trialing this just now. So I'm trialing this multitasking thing of getting my daily moves done, because I need to make sure I've got my steps up. So I've got my Fitbit on for that. And getting out and getting some fresh air, getting away from the desk, but also being able to read at the same time. So I am multitasking. So I'm doing those two things. So I'm getting out walking and I am getting through a book. So the book that I am reading, in fact, let me come back to the book. I'll look at Jim's comment before I do that. But I think just to that was the first point I wanted to make, is sometimes when we're struggling to find balance, we get stuck in the thought of, I can't do that, it's too hard to do that, that's impossible. And we don't actually take the time to be creative, right? So to be creative about, well, what could that look like? If I could make sure that I have time to go out for a walk and read a book, right? With technology, we have the way to do that. What would that look like? And is that something worth exploring, being curious about, and actually just giving it a go? And so I guess that's the learning for me, because I'd never considered doing that before. I've tried it over the past couple of days, and I'm now on chapter 2, right, of Richard Branson's book, which is a book that I have been wanting to read for a long time. So I'm reading Losing My Virginity, and I'm hoping that's his current book, but I'm actually starting to think that maybe it's not, and there's another one out that I'm supposed to be reading, because he's talking about his life up until the age of 43, and I know he's a lot older than that. So I'm actually wondering if I'm reading the wrong book. But anyway, that's the one that I'm reading. So I'm reading Richard Branson's Losing My Virginity. And so let me come back to that. Let me see what Jim is saying, because I'm very curious. So Jim is saying, renew role, crazy busy, small startup, early days, lovely people and advanced technology, AI and chatbot tech. Ooh, I use a chatbot. I don't use AI, but I use a chatbot. And you and Tanisha should chat, because Tanisha is moving into that space, who is on live at the moment as well. She's in California. You are in Utah. I think you're still in Utah anyway, Jim. But you two would be good connections for each other. So it's about an hour's commute away from my home each day, but I'd rather be leaning, into a challenging role than sitting in my jammies. Sitting in my jammies. What's wrong with sitting in your jammies? Sitting in my jammies and surfing YouTube, LinkedIn each day. My family and I are getting used to the new time schedule, but I feel humbled to have a role where I can use the sum of my work experience. To those who posted positive comments. Oh, where's the rest of it gone? Can I not show that on here? Let me just check what it says over here. Oh, did I miss that? Let me see. Let's scroll down over here. Yeah, so it must have been too big for StreamYard. It wouldn't share me the rest of that. So I'm just going to read it from my other screen over here. To those who posted positive comments while I was walking through my own Death Valley. Nice reference, referencing the heat conversation from before. Thank you. Thank you. Gail seems to attract the most genuine people to her sphere of influence. That's a nice comment, Jim. Genuine people. Yeah, I wouldn't have anybody in my sphere of influence if they weren't genuine. I think I would repel them. I certainly wouldn't let them in here because I'm all about being genuine and being authentic. That is one of my core values, is authenticity. Authenticity. Right, then, what else did you say? Actually, so then Tanuja then said, I am in enterprise hardware AI. Yeah, I do think you and Jim should connect. You and Jim should connect. You could be good contacts for each other. And Jim is saying, I'm a huge, in capitals, fan of audible.com, especially with the extra time that I have on the road these days. Oh, so do you listen and drive? That was what my husband told me not to do. Not to listen and drive. So I haven't done that yet. Last 5 books for me include The First 90 Days. Ooh, that sounds good. The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. I want to read that. Never Split the Difference. Don't know that one. The Infinite Game. That is Simon Sinek, right? The Infinite Game. I have heard of that. I've heard good things about it. And Extreme Ownership. How US Navy SEALs lead and learn. Wow. I bet you that is amazing. Interesting. Yeah, I love the sound of all of them. Who wrote The First 90 Days, Jim? Who wrote that? And was it, again, maybe pick one and give us your love, loathe, learn, lead, right? They're my 4 things. Love, loathe, learn, lead when we're talking about books. Love, loathe, learn, lead. Tell me your experience. So going back to, so to my thing on Audible, which is Richard Branson's book, and I'm still not sure if I'm actually reading the right one. But so when I was out for my walk in the mist, I'm surprised my hair didn't go curly. It usually does in the mist. But while I was out for my walk in the mist, that's what I was listening to. So I was listening to Jim has shared the Audible link as well, which I can't see on StreamYard, but that's okay. So while I was out walking in the mist, listening to Richard, that's the thing I love about Audible is, which I didn't realise until someone told me this, is that it's actually the author of the book that's talking. It's the author of the book that is reading the book to you, which I just think is fantastic. It's amazing. So I'm listening to Richard Branson in my ear as I'm wandering around the little village that I live in. And the section that we just came to, so I'm on to chapter 2, and he was talking about presenting, right? So he's talking about presenting. And so everybody knows Richard Branson, right? Everybody knows Richard Branson. Most people have probably seen Richard Branson being interviewed. You've probably seen him make a speech, maybe not in person, but, you've probably seen something like that on TV or on YouTube. Certainly seen him, getting interviewed at some point. And so the interesting thing for me on this, so this is from someone, so this really resonated with me because I am someone who, from time to time, not always, but from time to time, can struggle a little with speaking in public. And I think, it varies on, the audience and how big the stakes are. And it's something that over the years, I have definitely got better at. But I would say that there are still occasions for me when I do get a little bit nervous, right? A little bit nervous when I need to present to, a group of people or an audience. If I need to get up on stage in front of 200 people, that definitely makes me nervous. I had to do that. I haven't done that this year. I did it last year a couple of times and haven't done it this year because of lockdown, obviously. But I did do it a couple of times last year, and it definitely makes me feel nervous. But I guess the thing for me is I've done it quite a few times now. So I'm reasonably well practiced at it. I've been trained. I've had some really good training on how to present, and that kind of that kind of gets me through. And I know that no matter what, it's going to be fine. And I guess, my job doesn't depend on it now. Whereas when I worked for Adobe, I might be presenting to really senior people, and it could be, it could either be, career limiting, or it could, could open doors to exciting opportunities. I always used to think it was going to be career limiting. That was kind of the way that my mind worked. But the interesting thing was, I was listening to Richard Branson talking about the first time that he had to give a speech in public. And so it was when he was still young, so maybe in his early 20s, and he was maybe about 1920. And his first kind of thing that he did was he set up a magazine called Students. It was a magazine for students. And he had to figure out how to kind of, make this profitable and how to turn it into a business, how to earn advertising revenue and things like that. But he had been invited to make a speech. And it was really interesting listening to him talk about it, because he was talking about how nervous he was, how he was waiting in the wings to go on, and he was following two other speakers, and the two other speakers, in his opinion, were amazing speakers, like fantastic speakers, really knew their stuff, came across really confident, really eloquently, really articulate, and brought the house down, really, so really had a great impact on the audience. And then it was his turn, and so he had to then step up, get up on the stage, get behind the podium, and do his thing. And he said that he absolutely sucked at it, so he was hopeless. He was consumed with nerves. And I think this is the one thing I'm not sure about Audible, is I like to be able to go back to a book and reference it. So, so you see these books here, like they are covered in Post-it notes, right? Post-it notes. So that, I've got little bits that have resonated with me that I can go back to and find, what was it? What was that about again? What did the person say? Can I use that in a quote, but just to remind me of, what the words were. So on Audible, so I'm sure there is a way to do that from a tech point of view, like using bookmarks or something, but I'm a bit old-fashioned when it comes to that. So I'll need to try and listen to it again to find out exactly what he said, but he was describing his feelings of presenting, right? So he was describing how he was feeling when he had to stand up there at the podium. And at one point he said that, he was halfway between, when he was trying to say something, trying to kind of, say out loud a part of his speech, it came out almost like a cross between, and these may not be his exact words, but it was something along the lines of a cross between a mumble and a vomit, right? So a cross between a mumble and a vomit. And we just talked about how sick he felt about trying to deliver this speech, about how awful he was at making this speech, and how that was the most embarrassing moment of his life, right? So I think he kind of, did his best to get some words out, realized that, he had a really dry throat, couldn't get the words out, complete mind blank, mumble, get off the stage as quickly as possible, and kind of, disappear back into the crowd. I mean, that was really, what happened. But he says that even now, at the time this book was written, even now, I see some people are doing book reviews on here. That's fantastic. So even now, he still gets nervous about presenting, and that he is much better. That I'm trying to read the comments and speak at the same time. Probably not best. Let me concentrate on what I'm saying. Even now, he still gets nervous, especially if it's a topic that he is not confident about. So I guess, the lesson in there for me is, if you're going to get up and speak about something, make sure you know what you're talking about. Make sure it's a passion that you know well. Make sure it's a topic that you know well. Make sure it's a topic that you're passionate about. Because if you know it well and you're passionate about it, it's going to come across a lot better, and it's going to be much easier for you to speak about it than if it's a topic that you don't know anything about, which kind of makes sense, and it's common sense, right? But not everyone would think about it that way. And I think that what the other thing that he said was he's got used over time to giving himself permission to not be the best, and to not be as good as some other people, to not be as good as a perfectly polished politician, for example, who is coached and trained around how to answer questions, how to give speeches, So he has accepted eventually that, that is never going to be him. That's not going to be his strong point. And that, as long as people are okay with a slow, considered, thought through answer, or, what he has to think through what his answer is going to be, then, they need to be okay with that kind of thing. And that, that's how he thinks about it. And at the end of the day, he just answers honestly, so he just thinks about, well, what is my truth? What is my honest answer? And I'm going to speak that, because he can't speak anything else. He can only speak his truth. So I thought it was really interesting, from a couple of points. So one is, so even someone like Richard Branson gets nervous about speaking in public. Even someone like Richard Branson compares himself to other people. So he was comparing himself to politicians. And even someone like Richard Branson, right, if you're to kind of learn anything from that, even someone like Richard Branson is basically saying, speak your truth, be yourself, be authentic, because that's always going to be the best way forward, right? Speak your truth, be honest, be vulnerable, I guess, and you'll be fine, right? So that's the thing. So those are my lessons about presenting and getting over nerves from Richard Branson, based on what I just listened to on Audible out on my walk. Right, let's see, what else have I got in here? Lindsay is saying, first 90 days, Michael D. Watkins, I'm reading this. First 90 days in a new role to help my accountability to you. I've only just started, so can't do 4 L's yet. Once you've read it, Lindsay, come back and do the 4 L's. Tanuja, love. Even so, what book is this in relation to? Is this Michelle Obama? Tanuja, love. Love equals, even though growing up in poverty and gangs, she used, yes, this is about Michelle Obama. She used perseverance through music and her elders to surpass the exterior actions of what was going on outside her home and to focus on what the possibilities of what she could one day become. I could write a novel. Loathe, as a child with the migration of segregation in US schools, she could see a change. She didn't like her education and journey of learning being interrupted. Instead of being quiet about it, she decided to, I have to bring this up over here. She decided to voice her concerns. And so what you loathe about that is, I loathe that any child would go through this. Let me just take that off there because you can't see me anymore. Nice. And then learn, with so much of what she went through, it makes me compare my situations to her, and it bridles me to pick my head up, and not any situation or person turn me away from my ultimate goals. Love that, Tanuja. Love that. Love the strength in that. Lead, I will get back to you as I'm in the midst of learning more about when she lost a key family member and how she dealt with it. Right. So are you at the bit in the book, Tanuja, where she lost her dad? I'm past that. I'm about halfway through at the moment. About halfway through. Thank you for sharing that, though, Tanuja. Brilliant. Jim is saying, love, love, learn, lead. Never Split the Difference, written by a retired FBI hostage negotiator named Chris Voss. Wow, that sounds amazing as well. You've got some great books, Jim. I love the fact that the skills he references work for hostage negotiating, parenting, buying a car, or even getting your next raise. I'll share the loathe, learn, and lead thoughts later today. Fantastic. Tanuja, first time responding to the 4 L's. Hope I did that correctly. You did do it correctly. You did it fantastically well, Tanuja. Top class. Well done. Well done. Well done. Jim is saying, I should mention, I only listen to a book on Audible after I've read the hard copy. I'm like you, Gail. I love the tactile experience of reading and marking a book the first go round. Yeah, I just depends on the book. Like if it's a story, so if it's a novel, I wouldn't do that. But if it's a book that I'm reading, for learning or for reference, then I really do like to be able to go back to it and find, the bits that really resonated with me. And so I'm not able to do that on Audible, which I'm kind of missing that. But I don't think I would have time to read the hard copy and then listen to it on Audible as well. The other thing that I'm noticing on Audible is, if you get distracted because you notice something when you're wandering around, it's like, oh, I just missed that bit. What was that? And so then you have to rewind it. And I'm still getting used to that. Tanuja was saying, yes, it is Michelle Obama. I figured that out from your comments, and it was when she lost her dad. Yep. And that you love Chris Voss as well. I will need to check him or her out. I wonder if that's a him or a her. Lindsay saying, I prefer podcasts while walking. So what's the difference then, Lindsay? Why a podcast versus a book? What? Because I've never, ever, ever listened to a podcast. Can't believe that. Got interviewed for a podcast a few weeks ago. I'm waiting on the final version, the final cut of the interview, but I have never actually listened to one. I actually don't think I'd even know how to. I presume you do it on, I don't even know how you do it, actually. Don't know how you do, I wouldn't even know how you do it. Where do you get it? Is it on the App Store or something? Or maybe it's on iTunes. Maybe that's how you do it. Is it on iTunes? I don't know. Don't do it. You like to listen to people talking about specific topics. Good. I like listening to a really good story. I can get lost in a good story. I've always loved reading books since I was a little girl. Going back to The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, all about Narnia. That was one of my favourite books growing up. I always remember that book. It I just absolutely loved it. It was just so different and so unusual. And I always, so for a story, I love reading something unusual, something that's going to really make me think and that is really different. That's not one for, like holiday romances and just, I can't even, I don't like a light book. I like books that that just really make me think and really surprise me and think, gosh, that's like, imagine somebody was able to think of that and their imagination. So what's the book, what are the books called again that Tolkien wrote? About what are they called again? Oh God, that's ridiculous. What are they called again? Lord of the Rings. Yeah, with the hobbits. That blew me away as well. But because I kept thinking, gosh, this guy has just imagined all of this. Like, he's just imagined it all up, like, out of his head. It was amazing. Most podcasters are simply YouTube channels, although they have other methods of delivery. I see. I thought podcasts were just something that you listened to. So I thought it was just voice, not video as well. Every day's a school day. Podcasts can be listened to on Stitcher. You can download app from the App Store. Okay. There you go. There's something I have learned. Right. I think that is it for me today. So that was my thing. So my thing was, there's always ways to get more done if you can be creative and put your mind to it. And so my example of that today was going for my walk, because that's important to me, because I'm doing my Primal health plan and I need to move more. But I also want to read more books. And so that was my solution. So walk and listen at the same time. And then my next thing was, leading on from that, was all about, you don't realize that even the most famous of people who do interviews all the time, who present all the time, who speak all the time, who give speeches all the time, even those people, even millionaires, right, get nervous about doing that. And the funny thing is, like, would any of you have known that Richard Branson was one of those people? Yeah, would any of you have known that? Because that really surprised me and it really caught my attention, because it's something that I have suffered with. Nerves, speaking in front of people, getting up, speaking in public, presenting, influencing stakeholders. And, when I heard him speak about that, it really grabbed my attention, because I was just so surprised that because looking at him, hearing him, watching him, I would never, ever have known that. Nadia, I only started listening to podcasts about a year ago and listened when walking the dog, and now addicted. Interesting. I like them because it's conversation and I find them fun. Okay, it's because podcasts are more of an interview type thing then, right? Is that right? I listen to some random stuff, but probably prefer topical things instead of watching the news. Podcasts are more positive. Yeah, I watch the news every day, and I'm actually really starting to find it depressing. I watch 10 o'clock news every night, and I've been ducking out of it recently. I've been watching Outlander instead. Complete change of topic there, but there you go, some insight into my life. Instead of watching the BBC News at 10, I am engrossed now, addicted to Outlander, that's set in Scotland. Who knew? Someone I know, I think I was talking about this on the Ignite show the other day, someone I know arranges tours for people who are coming to Scotland to see all the Outlander, all the places in Scotland where Outlander was filmed. Or is filmed. I don't know if it's still being filmed, but that's what they do. I thought when she was talking about Outlander, I thought she was talking about a big vehicle like a bus or something like that. I was like, oh, what's that then? And then I realized it was a TV series. So I've started watching it. I was curious. That's what happens to me. I get curious. I watch one episode and then I'm hooked. I have to watch the whole, all of it. I think there's about 4 seasons. BBC Science have loads of free ones too. Interesting. Lindsay, I've got a podcast app on my phone. It recommends new top shows. Okay, so you maybe need a podcast app then. I will also try Audible, as it might work better for me too. Yeah, well, I'm doing a free trial at the moment, and I think it's $7.99 to join after 30 days, but I've already got a free book, and because I'm an Amazon Prime member, you get 2 free books a month. So I'm not paying for the Richard Branson one. I just got it for free. So that was quite good. And Tanuja's saying, I'm addicted to Outlander too. Yep, addicted. Not convinced about all their Scottish accents, I have to say. Such a different culture than what I grew up in. Yeah, so interestingly, one of the lead characters, I'm not going to do any spoilers. I don't know where about you are. I've only just started watching it. I'm on series 1, episode 5 or something like that. But one of the main characters, Jamie, he's one of the clansmen in the Mackenzie clan. I was convinced that he wasn't Scottish because I kept listening to his accent thinking that nobody in Scotland actually speaks like that. So I Googled him. So I Googled the guy, found him, and apparently he is Scottish. So I was completely shocked by that because I was convinced that he was putting on a Scottish accent. But I guess he's supposed to be from up in the Highlands, and they have a much stronger accent up in the Highlands than they do down here, where I'm from. But I don't know if he's maybe, if his accent is a little bit embellished compared to how he normally speaks, but some of the accents I just think are comical. And interestingly, I do know some of the actors that are in it who are playing Scottish people and they're not Scottish. And so then you're listening to the Scottish accents they're putting on, and it just, some of it makes me cringe. But apart from that, I do think it's really good. A little bit raunchy in places, which is a bit like, but it is good. It is good. Right, I think that is it for today. No more, I don't see any more comments, any more questions. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening again to my warbling. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to talk about when I come on, because I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today, and I went out for my walk and I was like, right, what am I going to talk about? And then this voice from, so he gives Scottish Gaelic language lessons. Is that Jamie? Jamie Fraser, I think he's got loads of names, but I think his last name is Fraser. Gives Scottish Gaelic language lessons on YouTube. Wow. I'm gonna have to check that out now. I can't speak Gaelic. I wouldn't understand it. So when they're speaking Gaelic, I don't know what I'm the same as everyone else. I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea. No idea what they're talking about. So sometimes I don't even have a clue what I'm going to talk about when I come on, but I always tend to kind of, look for some inspiration about half an hour before I'm due to come on and do the show. And it was listening to Richard Branson today made me think, right, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So just shows you, you don't have to be overly prepared. Like just do your thing. Nadia saying, thanks, Gail, enjoy your evening. You are welcome. Tanisha saying, yes, Jamie. So it just shows you Outlander, like that program must have a really huge audience if you're watching it in California. Because I live in the place that it's supposed to be. Although I think a lot of it is filmed in Scotland, but I think they go to France as well. I haven't got that far yet. Right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back again on Thursday at the same time. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about. No idea what I'm going to be talking about, but I will be back talking about something on Thursday, around about the same time, live at 5 with the Ignite Show. Hope to see you then. Threw my mouse over there. Have a fantastic day. Hope the weather improves. Hope it gets cooler in California. And I will see you all soon. Tanisha is saying Outlander is huge in the US. Interesting. Right. Take it easy, everyone. I will see you all soon. Talk to you again later in the week. Enjoy your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.